frequency at a certain size. There's factors involved, but I think that, yeah, it's about the sound, about that vibration.
Well, let's put it this way. Things may seem like they resonate at the right frequency that you think you have, but only when you hit the correct frequency does it light up.
Yep.
So it may be something that's working in a way just like a Tesla coil. So you have different radio frequencies that you put into it, right? And depending on which one you hit, you get a certain resonance value. You may not be on the correct one when it comes to quartz yet.
Yeah, you might be right on that one. I had I was doing tests with this coil about 10 years ago now. And my buddy had gout in his big toe. And he had gone to the doctor, and they said, well, the only thing we could do is operate. And he's like, I don't want to do that. So he comes back he was living with us at the time. We had a big house. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, well, I just got all of Raymond Rife's frequencies. How about I run it through my coil and we'll just do a test? But I warn you, I don't know what it's going to do, and told him all the disclaimer of it. And he said, yeah, no, I accept that. That's fine. Let's try it. Within 2 weeks, he cracked his toe and the gout was gone. I don't know if it was the vibration, the energy, the frequency. I don't know. It wasn't a controlled experiment. It was just, he was in the room when I was doing experiments and his foot felt better. And we came up with this idea of, why don't we try it? And then I looked for the frequencies and we did. So
can I tell you a cool experiment that I saw? And I'll probably tell you the answer.
Go ahead.
This guy took diamonds and he put them in a like oxygen chamber. So nothing can get in there. It's just sealed, right?
Yeah.
Then he put in pure oxygen and then heated it. So he had done a control experiment where he heated it with no oxygen in there, and it did nothing to the actual diamonds. As soon as he add pure oxygen to it, it dissolved the diamonds into nothing.
Whoa.
So when you start thinking about that and you start thinking about the oxygen being heated, once the oxygen wanted to bond with another oxygen atom, you basically allowed the heat to get into it and tear away this piece of diamond to nothing.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
It's the coolest thing in the world, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong, because you know what? That goes along with what I was saying a few lives back about how I believe that time is a form of energy that could be imparted into every cell. What if it's directly connected to oxygen in some way, shape, or form?
Well, see, that's the same thing with the gravity flyer. We build these fields, right? But I'm telling you right now, we have to take it and take the oxygen in it, and we have to polarize that. You know what I mean? We have to create power inside of it. And when I do my paper lifter experiment, I'm dealing with pure charge. I've eliminated the voltage. I've eliminated all the other things in it. It's down to like 90% charge and 10% of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I get a pure charge out of it. Now I'm hoping I can get oxygen to charge, because I charge it inside my paper lifter. When I do that experiment, the reason it has so much more force is because I'm adding mass to it by charging the oxygen.
That makes a lot of sense. So
when I come out with that number on there, I don't expect to get grams. I expect it to be way, way higher in the amount of power it puts down to it.
No, I get that much. Yeah.
So
I hope you get to do it. I really do. I hope you're the first one to make that sucker float, because you've been working hard at that puppy, and you have the concept.
You're going to get like a month straight of me flying this thing in every different area. I'll buy, a couple $1,000 cameras just to show it off that there is no string. I can't wait for that day.
If you do it, then I'll do it solid state. And then we can test that theory to see if when two fields get close together, they multiply. So they'll fly together. Right? I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
It doesn't have to be a rotating disc. if you understand energy as a flow.
Yep.
And I keep telling Benefactor that the coil that he's working on is an energy flow.
Yep.
So if you start seeing that and you build your coils above and beneath the center plate, then solid state's going to be fairly easy if you can understand the flow of it, just like you understand yours.
Well, that was part of what my presentation's about, is actually talking about the flow and how these coils, when I first started, they were based on the atomic structure of elements that, to the best of my understanding. And I look at them and I can see how they flow three-dimensionally, and I kind of mimic that. See, I had this thing when I was a kid, and I still kind of have it. I can look at something, pull it apart with my mind, look at each piece, and put it back together. And if it doesn't work, I can pull it apart, pull the piece out, put another piece in, make it work, then I can go build it. I've been doing that since I was a kid.
So I always tell people, when you see a clock, you just see a hand moving.
Yeah.
When I see a clock, I see all the parts inside.
Yeah, see, you have the same thing. You can just, you know exactly what's in there, how it's working. You, even if you look in the back, you know exactly what gear is going to be where to what, because every arm's got a turn and they're all interconnected.
That's why when my wife gives me those projects of those little cheap things from IKEA or whatever she tries to buy, I take a look at the picture of how it's all separated apart, right? And I will never read the instruction.
Yeah, me neither. I can see exactly how it's built before, even if it's sitting in a pile. I just got to see the picture. Oh, he's back.
Benefit. Yeah, are you back? I think his power went out, is what he said in the stream.
Yeah, I seen it in the comment section. He just got his power back on.
Yeah, my power went out.
There he is.
I get brownouts sometimes.
Yeah, they're coming after you.
I hope not.
We need to set you up with one of my new systems that I've come up with. I figured out a way of, I won't give it fully away, but I figured out a way of shrinking the solar footprint. Drastic.
Say that again? What were you shrinking?
I figured out a way of shrinking the solar footprint. So you know you have to have, like, say, let's see, 8 solar panels of the highest wattage in order to equal 5,000 watts. So you got to have that on your roof. You got to pay for an electrician to come in and tap it in, and sometimes even a structural engineer for your roof.
Yeah.
So it's a big cost. It's an expense. Well, I figured out a way to bypass all of that and close the footprint where it goes in a geometrical way so that it doesn't take up a ton of space.
Is it with the existing solar panels, or you got something different?
Say that again?
Is it with the existing solar panels, or is it something different?
No, it's with existing solar panels. It's just the way that it's put together and the way that it unfolds. That's as much as I can give you. But when I'm going to do the big unveil. I hope it's going to be done. I got 90% of the welding done, but I want to do the big unveil at the end of the presentation on August 3rd.
Oh.
So
I have to tell you, Gerald, I'm really excited for your presentation. Every time you speak, you have something cool that you're working on, and I'd like to learn more.
Oh, I got scooped today by
Well,
Tech Ingredients. I love it. This guy's a genius. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not insulting the guy. I give him kudos, man. I'd applaud him.
What does scooped mean?
He built the thing that I have literally designed and written in a book, and I've been meaning to do, but I haven't had the chance to get done.
Oh, so he's passing it off as his own?
Well, no, it's his. Okay,
Oh, it's his?
It's like the thing we talked about with the 100 monkey experiment. Okay,
Oh, so
I never
it's just
told
like
anybody
happening.
about it.
It's happening.
Literally, I drew it, designed it, dated it. It's in my book. I left it there, and it's a thing I kept wanting to go back to. I got to do it. But I got so much other things on my plate. I just put it aside. So today, Tech Ingredients comes out with an experiment on how he could use an air conditioner in the winter to heat his house. And he proved that it was better than a heat pump. A small window air conditioner at 450 watts produces more heat than a 1500 watt heater, both running for a half hour period of time. Blew my mind.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how
Because
does
what
it
he
work?
did, well, he took a bedroom and he cut a hole in the door for his air conditioner, and he put the back side of the air conditioner that you'd normally exhaust your heat from, he put it into the bedroom. Okay. And the cold air was blowing into the hallway. So the experiment went, he put the 1500 watt heater in the room. He turned it on. He had a fan blowing the heat around so it was an even distribution. It ran at 1365 watts for a half hour. Then he shut that off, aired out the room. Then he turned the air conditioner on for a half hour, which only sucks 455 watts. And it heated the room 17 degrees more than the 1500 watt heater. And it did it in the same amount of time for less energy.
You know, I bet that the companies that sell those units or sell the heating units know that. I bet they know.
I'm betting they do too. I found it just awesome because I literally have it drawn out it's like almost the size of a furnace. It's 2 air conditioners stacked one on top of the other. The heating side goes into one compartment that's insulated. The cold side goes into the other side that's insulated. And then there's vent that comes off the cold side to go into the furnace for essential air. And there's a vent that comes off the hot side that goes into the furnace for the heating. And you just have a vent valve or whatever you call it to shut the vent off, depending on which one you're doing at the time. So in the winter, I use my air conditioner. I haven't done this yet. This is a part of the experiment I want to do. I'd use the air conditioner to heat the house and blow the cold air outside. And in the summer, I'd blow the cold air into the furnace and blow the hot air outside. And it's literally cheaper than running a furnace or electric heaters. Just mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here. They are lying to you.
It was built to exhaust heat outside was the air conditioner, and that's why it's working that way.
Exactly. And it works so well that if you capture that heat, it's a heater. It's better heater than the heaters that are out there.
Isn't that just a testament to how much waste is going through these systems, though? Because isn't that heat waste, the exhaust?
Yes.
That's wasted energy.
So if you know how to convert heat into electricity, and you can do that, then you got something going on there.
Okay, but now you're talking free energy. What I'm talking about is free heat.
You're talking about a very cool, simple solution to solving your heat problem. No, I love it. It's a hack. It's a life hack.
Yeah, it'll help, basically, right? But now if you couple that to the formula I have for you build a grow room in your house, you run solar paneled pool heaters along the walls as you're growing your food. And that hot water that runs through there goes into your hot water tank, preheating all your hot water, which kills the gas bill so much. And in the winter time, I'd say the winter time. What am I thinking? Your grow room exhausts directly into the intake of your furnace, and that blows out through your whole house, saving your hydro bill. And you get food in the same process as you do heating your water and heating your house. And because you're growing food, you throw some herbs and spices in there, and it's literally cleaning the air in your whole house. So it acts as an air filter. It's a formula. It works.
You know what, Gerald? You could just redesign the systems for a house with all that in mind. You'll save us all a ton of money and energy.
Well, I do have my own secret blend of herbs and spices.
You'll be a KFC master after a while.
I can tell you a story about that. It used to get me into trouble, and I got to watch who I tell it to. But KFC, Colonel Sanders, my dad used to work with him. I got a picture of my dad and Colonel Sanders standing beside each other with my dad in the red suit because he was a district manager for 5 of the KFCs in the city I live.
Okay.
I ate so much chicken as a kid. I'm telling you, I got sick of it. And you know how they tout it's 11 herbs and spices?
Yeah.
Bullshit. It was 13. I'll never forget it. They used to literally advertise it's 13 herbs and spices that we have, and they're secret and blah, blah, blah. And my dad was such good friends with them. I didn't get the whole list, but my dad used to laugh. He says, the secret ingredient nobody can figure out is baking powder.
That
That's
makes
It's
a lot
what
of
it
sense.
does.
Yeah,
When you're
that's so
deep,
simple.
when you're deep frying it, what it does, it puts air pockets underneath the skin and it causes it to be extra crispy. That was their secret.
Wow. And it's science,
So,
chemistry.
If you've ever made Chinese food, then you probably know that because they use the same thing.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Oh,
There
that
you
makes
go.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Life's crazy. I love it.
It's all a big circle. We just don't know which way to go.
It really is. It really is. Round and round we go until we find out at the end, I guess.
We're all in the merry-go-round of life, huh?
That's right. Yeah, so there's lots of things I want to share this year. It's just it's hard to kind of get the information out, right? And
Well, hey, we're always here, man, and I know crypto's always there. So as soon as you want to do it, I know you're waiting for APAC, but let it out, man.
I'll let some out before APEC. I actually have a plan for that.
I'll do it.
I'm gonna release a teaser.
Does crypto have free energy
Well, that's-
Fridays? Maybe you can, bust
Yeah.
it out this week.
Yeah, well, so does the League of Extraordinary Inventors as well. It kind of couples to Free Energy Fridays. So either way, either or, both, whatever.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know about this Friday. Can I release that this Friday? Maybe. I'm not going to promise you, but maybe. But there's going to be a good teaser before the conference. I'll tell you that.
Ooh,
You'll
okay.
like the teaser.
Oh, we waited, man. I waited like
I
2
know. I
weeks already.
apologize, Nathan. I felt so bad. I was so mad that day. Nobody could talk to me. I was like, just leave me alone.
You still have my mind blown by your theory of the Ankh being a tuning fork. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on
It's a little more than a tuning fork as well. It's actually an electromagnetic motor as well.
What?
Yeah, where's that?
All right, now. Come
Where's
on
that?
now.
I'm gonna build it and show it. It's not part of the presentation or whatever, but came up with this a few years ago after I watched a guy do a video on it. He was from Africa and he was explaining what the Ankh was as a motor, and I was like, what? That's insane. And he talked about it, but he didn't build it. And then I built it and it worked. I just used a piece of copper and I was like, what the hell? And then just looking for this paper. I'm having a hard time finding it.
What is it, like an electromagnetic motor or like what
Yeah,
kind of motor?
actually the whole Ankh itself spins.
Wow.
Put it on a lodestone,
Uh-huh.
okay? Create a positive and negative voltage. You know where the arms come out? One positive, one negative. That sucker will start to spin all on its own.
And you can do this just with, some crystals and some metal?
I don't know about crystals. I don't know, but the Ankh was made out of gold. Or it was made out of electrum, one of the other.
Okay, so electrum is what? Gold and silver combined, I think?
Yeah, gold, silver, and a little bit of copper and a tiny bit of nickel.
Is that to like maximize the conductivity or something? Or is it just...
I think so. I think it had something to do with crystallization, but I don't know for sure.
Didn't they have a shipwreck that had that in their cargo hold?
Yeah, a ton of it. And then it just like you never heard anything about it after that.
That's so interesting, man.
Yeah. When did they discover the shipwreck?
Oh, I don't know.
I think we heard about 10 years ago. Have we heard about
10
it?
years ago? Might have been. I know it was a while ago.
Huh. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's insane. The real truth out there about our history and how these things worked is insane.
I feel like there was a totally advanced civilization out there that probably lived more in harmony with Earth, and then we came along and
Well,
just did
absolutely.
everything else.
hey, if you listen
Absolutely.
to the Indian Vedic texts, we were in the Kali Yuga, you know, the age of ignorance and, uh, you know, basically the opposite of spiritual enlightenment.
Like, but that's a cycle, though, right?
Yeah,
Like in
yeah,
their
and
belief
then
system, that's a
it's
cycle.
and there's debate on when it's ending, but it's my belief that we are in the transition of it ending now.
Well, I don't know if you guys believe in dreams and visions, but I was given a dream about how the universe is actually shaped. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it was just something my brain came up with.
We'd love to hear it. I'm interested.
Well,
Yeah,
it's like a big center column, like a tube, and then picture a record that goes around it. And then our sun isn't stationary, neither are our planets, but we're stationary behind the sun. And the sun travels through the universe, spinning slowly, picture it like around a wire, right? And turning at the same time. And we, as our planets, do the same thing. And as we go around this record, we go up and we go down, and we keep going around this record up and down like in a sinusoidal way. And the positive and negative, or north and south pole, is at the top of the tube and bottom of the tube. And as we come up over an arch, that's when we're in the like positive, not the Kali Yuga, but the one after that. And as we go down into our trough, we're in the Kali Yuga, which is our dumbed down spot, right? So it's like a sinusoidal movement throughout the universe in a consistent manner throughout all of time, depending how time really works. But that was just a dream. I don't know how true it is, right?
Yeah, it's interesting to think about. I mean, dreams could also be messages or metaphors that might not be literal, you know?
Oh, some of them are.
Yeah. Well,
Because
for
this
sure.
coil, the one that you guys see, the big one, that all came from a dream. The very numbers it took to wind that coil came from a dream.
Wow, that's crazy. No, because
Yeah.
I hear that a lot, you know, people who have dreams or visions. You know, Tesla had them. Einstein claimed to have them.
I get it in the last 2 minutes of the dream before you wake up,
Mhm.
when you're starting to realize that it's real life again instead of the dream state. That's when I get the most information.
Yep. And you got to repeat it in your mind over and over and over and over so you don't forget it. Yeah. I got up. I have a pen and
Yeah.
a paper beside my bed, and I literally will jump out of bed and just start writing.
Yeah, because you'll forget. You're right. You'll forget it.
That's right.
It fades
There's
fast.
been quite a few breakthroughs that have happened that way for me. So I don't know. Maybe it's the universe. Maybe it's my subconscious. Maybe it's a bit of both. Who knows?
I believe to some extent we can all tap into the Akashic records. You know, I credit the Akashic records with a couple of my epiphanies. You know, not all of them, but it seems like when I'm meditating, especially, I do have these ideas that just kind of flow into my head without any kind of lineage of, you know, getting there from thought to thought.
See, and that could be part of the whole 100 monkey experiment. We all
Yeah.
connect at different times to the Akashic records.
Mhm.
We pick up on these things and we bring them out as we connect to each other because we think about them.
It would
Well,
make sense if the Akashic record is actually powering our conscious. It is our consciousness. You know, we're part
Well,
of it.
I have a different belief, but that's possible.
Well, what's your belief?
Well, I believe in God, to be honest with you, and I believe that He put certain mechanisms into play for us to live life with a free will. And I believe that those mechanisms allow us to grow and allow us to live life in abundance. But because, go ahead.
Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, because of the powers that ought not be, they don't want to see us live in abundance. So certain devices have been hidden and certain things have been kept from us. I'm not saying dastardly on purpose, but maybe just out of greed because they have a different idea of making money, or I don't know, something along those lines, right?
So your belief is, or you believe that the Akashic or the Aether is a part of God or an aspect of God rather than God itself?
Yes, I believe that the ether is a mechanism that God put into play for
a mechanism.
not only Him, but for all of us. I believe that. I think it's kind of like his playground, and we're allowed to tap into it if we don't have that intention to hurt another person. Because I don't think that anybody who works in this field, if they had evil intent, would be able to find any sort of breakthrough that was significant.
Yeah. No, I had a similar idea that, what if ill intent is what prevents people from accessing the Akashic record,
Yeah, I would think so. That's just
Yeah.
a thought on my part, though.
Well, it also goes, guys. I think you resonate differently if you fast. So
Yes.
your body isn't dealing with all this food going through your system. So your heat and everything's different, which changes your resonance frequency of what your
Wow.
body's at.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and
I
it
never
also
thought about that way.
Yeah, and fasting also allows your body to detox. It gets rid of all the crap and it makes you cleaner.
It allows you to heal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what if that was just a simple frequency thing? They learned how to tap into the frequency that it created when you fast, and then continue it in a larger way inside those temples where you see it come down on the top and go
Yeah.
over people. It might just be the same thing.
That's interesting. I know there was multiple different frequencies. I'm buying a new camera setup for APEC, but I'll get it before that, and I'll show you this book. I can't remember where I got this information from, but I have the angle and declination of different pyramids and different times of day where the light comes in to heal different parts of your body, like your liver, your kidneys, brain, heart, broken bones, and the different tone that it takes in order to do it at that declination of light that comes in at that shape of pyramid. I have like a whole page drawn out on it. I gotta show it to you when I get my new camera. It's just freaking crazy. I drew it like 20 years ago almost, maybe 12 or 18. Around. Yeah.
So check it out. I have gout in my right hand. You can probably see how fat it is.
Oh yeah.
So it was all in my left side, 2 weeks ago. Then I blew out my back, and now it's all in my right hand. So it was just like a train wreck for the last 3 weeks. So check it out. When I go on my diet and I fast, zero problems with gout, zero problems with any gastrointestinal problems, anything like that. My body doesn't swell or anything like that because I can't have a whole lot of salt or soda. It has to be very minimal in my life.
Yep.
But when I fast and do that and drink water and take more protein than anything else in the food, and guys, I 4 inch by 4 inch container by about an inch and a half deep. That's all I'd eat for the day, and then fast in between. Let me tell you what, the whole life changing event goes on.
No doubt. No doubt. Gout sucks. Really sucks. I'm betting that. Oh, I should get something to you. Yeah, we'll have to talk. let me think about that one. I'll have to meditate on that one and see, because some of the stuff that I make, I get nervous about sending it to the States, right? Like I wanted to send something to Jeremiah a long time ago, but I was having issues in so many different fronts. My computer was being hacked. I couldn't get any, literally no emails back from any social media whatsoever. And I still can't, but that's when it started. And I was like, you know what? I'm being watched. I don't want to send you something that's going to get grabbed. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So if you travel, you and I should meet.
Exactly.
I have no issues handing something to somebody in person. That's not a problem. I even said that to Jeremiah. If you can make it to Canada, or I'll make it to the border, and you make it to the border, and we'll sit and have a lunch or something, and I'll give you your clock.
I'm literally an hour from the border.
Yeah, you're not far, eh? Ooh.
Yeah, we all can meet up for a conference someday.
You know what? I'm into that. But my issue is I can't really cross the border. My past, when I was a kid, I made bad decisions. So
I hear you on that, man. I'm right there with you.
I think we all have.
What's that?
That's it. I think we all have.
Yeah. I never used any violence. I'm not like that. I never did any crazy robberies or whatever. But buy and sell stuff got me into trouble. But that's what you do when you're a kid. You get into trouble, you learn, right?
Oh yeah, crazy.
Yep. But yeah, so that's a bit of the stuff that I've been working on for the last let's see, I think I started about 18 years ago on all this. This isn't something I started as a kid. This is something that after I became disabled, I sort of got into. So
There you go. See, I did the same thing.
yeah.
So Mike,
Well, you gotta have a hobby, right?
Sorry.
And then go ahead. Sorry about
Oh
that.
no, I was just gonna chime in. Mike does. He said he can get on in about an hour if that's cool with everybody. He was gonna help me with the Bedini circuit. I was hoping that you all could help me find the put together a quick materials list for phase 2 testing. In a little bit here.
Well, let him help you with his version
Yeah,
of the
Yeah, he put together the circuit, so I'd rather him and
Yeah, you should have one-on-one with him and do it because
Yep.
without anybody chiming in.
But no, are you gonna throw together a quick presentation?
No,
Or,
right.
nope.
No, I'm not ready, but
Oh,
I
okay.
appreciate the offer.
Gerald's
I
gonna
want
make us wait.
Yeah, I'm sorry I gotta make you wait.
You gave us
Yeah,
some pretty good
no, there were-
teasers. You gave us some
No.
pretty good teasers.
No, he did. Thank you for that. It's just I've been waiting, and I can't explain what's going on in this coil more than what I already did. Because I don't want to give anybody any more information. But I
Yeah,
know more of what's going on, and it's
Yeah,
killing me
I know
not to
you do.
talk about it.
I know you do. That's why I said we got to do a private Zoom one day. There's some things I can tell you too, but I don't like to release everything because this system threw me for a loop when I discovered it, and I've been mapping it ever since. I've been mapping it for about 12, 13 years, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. When I got to talk to John Bedini and Thomas Bearden at once, that was when I first discovered it. It was like a week before that.
You got to talk to Bedini and Tom Bearden at the same time?
Yeah, you know what happened? They were both at this conference, and who was it that was doing it? They did a radio. It was, oh, come on, brain. He's very well known. He does all. Thank you, Art Bell. He
really?
was complaining at
met him
one
too.
time because he did an interview with John Bedini, and then he did an interview with Thomas Bearden, and he made a joke how he could never get the two of them together in the same room because he wanted to do an interview with both of them. Then there was this conference going on, and it was like across the street from Art Bell's or something like that, and he pulled them in for a radio interview, and they had a call-in special. So I called in and I got to ask a question.
Wow.
That's how I got to talk to him. It was one question, but I said to him, and I didn't tell him I've done experiments. I just wanted to keep it vague. But I asked him, I said, okay, so if you could come up with a system that resonates with, say, cesium 123 or whatever it is, and it resonates at the, thank you. And it resonates at the same frequency, and you're able to take the energy out at that resonant frequency so that it lowers down to a different resonant frequency, are you not changing it into your daughter product? And if you could do that, is that not what we're searching for? And Thomas Bearden and John both laughed at me. I took it as not as an insult, but as a compliment. And they said, well, what was it? It was Thomas Bearden that said, he says, well, son, if you could do that, we'd all be out of a job and you'd have the Holy Grail sitting in your hand. And they both laughed.
Yeah, because they know that's the Holy Grail of physics.
Is that the Holy Grail of physics?
I don't know.
Pardon me if I say this, then I'm fucked.
I always thought that the Holy Grail of physics was what the rodent coil represented, but, I could be wrong.
Well, you know what? If you can build a magnetic field in the center of your open core system
Mhm.
and still have a magnetic field on the outside of your system because you're pushing that excess energy to it,
Mhm.
and you collect that excess energy and burn it in a load, you'd be pulling the energy from the whatever's sitting in the center core at whatever frequency it's at whatever energy level it's at. And you'd
See,
be
that
able to
makes
lower
sense.
its level,
That makes
right?
sense when I have the neodymium sphere vibrating outside of the donut and it's resonating with the Schumann resonance because it's it's resonating with the Earth magnetic magnetosphere, right?
Yeah.
So it's affecting it outside of the condensed vortex where it should be affected. That explanation makes more sense than anything I've ever heard.
Yeah, you,
So
you
go ahead.
you need a coil inside of that coil.
But
If
my
you want
coil is
that, yeah, if you want some more cool experiments, when you build your next one, run a coil through the center so that you tap into it. I'm telling you, it change your life.
so
Like a
I
nested
do
picket
have a
coil?
coil. Yeah, like okay, so I have a coil inside a coil. They're wrapped by firely, they're interwoven. But do you mean like a separate third coil in the center of the
No,
open core? No?
I'm saying that rodent coil
Yeah.
needs
Oh,
a center coil inside of the field of the round part, right?
yeah.
And you can do cool experiments with Tesla coils hooked to that. You could do it with, just a magnetic coil. You can keep everything internal. God, I'm telling you, field inside of a field is an amazing study in itself.
Yeah, that's part of the system that works in that big coil that you see. It's a field inside of a field. I actually get, and I don't know if this is normal or not. I never asked anyone about it because I really don't know. But when it comes to thermodynamics, usually the center of whatever's hottest is in the center and then it's cooler on the outside, right? So in my coil, if I'm running a high load on it, it'll get hot in the open core, and I can check that out with a laser thermometer or just a regular digital thermometer. And then on the outside of the coil, it's all the same temperature all the way around, but it's like 4 to 5 degrees cooler.
It's
Wow.
almost cold energy on the outside.
Yeah.
Why the heat's on the inside.
Yes.
Or it's
Is that
inducting
normal?
the yeah. So it
For,
is
for
that
what
is that
you're doing, it is.
Yeah.
do you do you think that's like a byproduct of inducing this aether energy or radiant energy that cold electricity?
I think the only way that radiant energy or cold electricity can occur is if you form a pinch or a
Pinch.
compression so that you can have charge compression, right? And that
Right.
happened in the center of the open core.
Right. You pinched that pole.
Yeah, yeah, right in the center. There's actually a spot in the center of that coil that's a null zone. Like you can
Mm.
take the magnet and you pulse it at 7.83 hertz, and it'll hop and spin and it'll go all the way around the coil, right? But
Yeah.
if you put it in the open core, just close to the coil, it'll hop and spin and jump around. But if you put it right in the center, very center, it won't move. There's a null zone there.
Right, like
It,
the eye of the hurricane, right?
yeah, it holds whatever is
So is
in there.
that the point where the neodymium sphere would kind of levitate if it's the right shape and size?
Actually, you know what? That's funny that you say that because the last magnet that I made levitate in there was it looked more like a disc,
Mm-hmm.
and it would attach itself to the inside core, but I can tap it and it would roll around the core. Like it's
I
on one of
have
my
to
videos.
I have to assume that the different shapes of coils that we're making have to have different complementary field geometries for the magnets
They
that are inside,
do. Get
right?
picked up on that. Well, that's why I built the 175 of them. I
I
wanted
love
to
you,
figure
Gerald.
out how this worked, right? Yeah,
He's the Lord of the Rings.
well, I don't know about that, but I blew up a lot of stuff and I electrocuted myself a lot. Don't kid yourself. But yeah, I
Good.
built a lot of
This
different.
is cool, and I get to talk to you, both of you guys. Like, I
So
got two amazing genius inventors, right?
two Tesla coils pointed at each other, put a light in the middle, makes a dead spot.
Really?
So multiply the coils and you're going to get the same thing. That's
Yep.
why when they talked about Terrence Howard in the Saturn project, that's why it clicks and makes sense, because there's going to be a spot that your actual center is,
There is.
and then everything rotates around it. That
Mm.
I kind of wonder if that's actually where you could travel between planets without actually affecting your mass or your speed. Literally almost like teleportation from point to point, right? If there's a null zone there and there's a null zone here, and you can match the frequency of that null zone of that planet, I don't know. It's just a thought, right? I kind of wonder.
well, that goes into Victor
Schauberger?
Schauberger when he did his air experiment where he's rotating the field, and then he travels down the center where there is no inertia. Then he can use whatever force pulls him through it.
He actually made a system that floated, but nobody believed him. His assistant seen it, many people seen it, but he actually made you couldn't call it levitation because it worked on the way air flowed, but it literally floated. It was really crazy.
Oh, check this out. In the documentary, right, that we've all seen, we see his son talk about the energy that he was producing. And he kept saying it didn't have enough current in it, so they couldn't use it as an energy source. What he didn't realize was the water itself, the way it was moving. So, coils in the center, the water is rotating just like this, just like it would in that Rodden coil as a flow of energy.
Oh, wow.
What documentary is this?
This is, oh man, it's getting late. What was his name? Victor Schauberger.
Schauberger, yeah.
So it was sort of like towards the end of the documentary, right after they talk about his device and the chamber it created. Right after that, he does a brief. I want to say it's like a minute, maybe two, on this energy. The crazier thing is the exact same energy we're playing with very low amps and very high voltages in order to produce this, in order to get that water itself to move in that direction. You take in the oxygen in the water and he's just polarizing or charging it to get the field.
Wow. See, and I think one of the keys to this energy is a coil system that is bifilar, and you capture the back EMF faster than, I don't even know how to explain that without sounding too woo. But when you turn it on and it fills the whole coil with energy in every piece of copper, and you shut it off really fast, that energy all goes into the back EMF.
Yes.
By the time it's filled up the back EMF and you flip the switch on, fill the primary, they're butting up against each other and creating a ton of current, and you're releasing one and filling the other, kind of like breathing. Right?
But don't you have to design the circuit so it shuts down as fast as possible?
Yeah, well, I fire my stuff at 1% duty cycle sometimes.
Tesla's Colorado notes he has a circuit in there, which is a power circuit. So it'll take and use the excess energy and loop it in the system in order to use it again. So it switches when you go from the voltage needed to run the Tesla coil to a lower voltage, and then it brings it out of your circuit. So you can use all that energy with that circuit.
Oh, wow.
There is a guy out there by the name of Joel Legacy. Big shout out, Joel. If you're listening, you rock. And he had a dream. I'm just looking for the paper right now. I'm old school. I write it down on paper, right? Because then that way nobody can take it. You have to come to my house then, and good luck with that one. Yeah, so here it is. He comes up with this. He has a dream, and he comes up with a circuit called Bedini's reactive DC magnetic oscillator. And I tried it, and it works. And I was able to feed my back EMF back into the front part of the circuit, and the circuit energized even, I'd say, maybe 30% more. It didn't complete it, like it wasn't running on its own, but the trigger that I was using, the power went way down. I think I was using maybe 100 milliamps to start, and then when I was done, it was like 20 milliamps or something. So it was close. It was close to running itself, being just a resonator from this one circuit. I'm gonna do a video on it and show it. It's pretty
I
neat.
sure hope so.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I just wonder if me closed looping it, but again, it doesn't run itself, so it's not really a closed loop at that point. I just wonder if it would, if I had a large enough capacitor bank in there or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a thought. But I'll show you this circuit. It's really neat. And Joel, if you're listening, it worked. Okay. Your dream circuit worked. There, I had to say that.
Yeah. I always talk about anchor watt and then Tesla coils, okay? So hear me out. And I think I said this last time, Benefactor were on together. If you took a Tesla coil that's an output coil, put it in the center, just the same configuration as anchor watt. Every tower, put a receiving coil. So you got 4 that go on the inner part, and then you got another 4, I think it's 8 on the outer part. So if you simply take in between those and you make a saltwater battery, you can then absorb all of the energy from that resonating coil, dump in 10 times the energy into the batteries, and run a load off of it and have 0 problems.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like they drew a map in the layout of how they build things. And as long as you can put it to what you know how to work on, it makes it easier. So you can not only get a loop for the system, you have energy coming out.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. That's really interesting.
Because everything comes in, that's what people don't understand. It's receiving coil, it's receiving energy, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you put an immediate load on it, it destroys it. But if you run it into something that can hold capacitance, then it saves it. And no matter which one you run, you can't pull enough out to be more than what you're putting in.
Yeah, actually, there's a way of, how most people, they come up with like that high voltage, they call it scalar, and they can't convert it to real power, right? Well, if you use 2 capacitors back to back, you can. It converts it right back to regular power because that static field goes in, polarizes, you depolarize it or swap it back out with having your capacitors back to back, and then you pull it out.
So what? Yeah. They could just detect it with their multimeters or whatever?
After the capacitors, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, before they're able to utilize it, they're just able to detect
it. Yeah, you pick it up with your multimeter, but it won't go into like
a
load. You can't do anything with it. Well, if you run it through capacitors back to back, you can, because it builds current as you're going back to back from that capacitor and of course your system itself.
Huh. Do the capacitors have to be exactly the same?
Yes, they do. And they have to be what's the word I'm looking for? Not polarized, but not AC/DC. I'm using the wrong term. I know I am. I'm just kind of brain dead. It's getting kind of late for my head. I got so much to do today. I did so much today, and I got still a few things to do before I go to bed. So
Silver Cart says, "Anchor watt battery, baby. Oh yeah."
Yeah, a lot of things out there.
Anchor Watt is my personal favorite ancient ruin. I love Anchor Watt. Everything about it is so beautiful.
Was Anchor Watt connected to that island with the heads?
The Easter Island?
Easter Island, yeah. Wasn't it sitting on the same ley line?
I don't know. That'd be fascinating, though. Let's see. Let us look.
Yeah, I kind of wonder.
You know what? I'd love to take my gravity flyer out to Giant Rock and see what it does out there.
Oh yeah.
That I don't live too far from it, so I mean it's like maybe a couple hours from my house. I might try that.
You should try it. Get it on video.
I'd like to go in the Integratron, but I don't want anything to do with the hippies and the.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, apparently it was taken over by bikers, and it's like you can't even get close to it now.
Now, if I got rich, I would buy that thing and produce, the fields that's supposed to go into it and make it right.
For sure. Absolutely. If
We
if
could all
go
we could
ahead.
all sit out there and have ourselves a glass of lemonade or something. You know what I mean? While
Damn
people are
straight,
running through it.
I would love to build something similar with a slightly different system, but on the same principle.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if it would help people.
Crypto says Angkor Wat has a floating megalith island in its lake.
Ooh,
That
interesting.
is, yeah, that just blew my mind.
I never knew that. You learn something new every day.
Hey,
Yeah.
Crypto, how do I get on that show where you guys talk about ancient sites, man? That's always fascinating to me.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's absolutely killer.
Yeah.
So I'll bring up one more thing, and then I'm gonna kind of bail on you guys if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's getting almost to the 3-hour mark, so yeah. Go
Do you
ahead.
guys know what the PMH is? Edley, yeah, permanent. It's the thing that Edley Scallon came up with. Lots of people have done videos on it. If you look at Jason Verbelli, even last year he was doing experiments on it. So the PMH, it's with the horseshoe, and then
Okay.
the 2 copper coils, they're counterwound. Okay, so and when you energize it, you put a how do I explain this? Okay, so you take a piece of metal and you put it underneath the horseshoe and you energize the tube or the line and it becomes magnetic and it will sit there in a closed loop for 50, 60, 100 years, they say. So it's like a perpetual magnetic loop, but you can't do anything with it. You can't make power from it or whatever, right? So Jason Verbelli, like I just made a video on this, but I didn't show a demo. Jason Verbelli did a video and he shows how when you energize the horseshoe and then de-energize it, it will light a light because that magnetic turns into electric. And he's like tapping with a 9-volt battery and he can get it to pulse, but he can't get it to stay on. And he's like, if I just had a variable switcher. And there was somebody that I watch called Tristan McNabb, and he pulled the little washing machine motor apart. That's the Jaron Morin device. You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
If you look at the Jaron Morin device in its pieces, it's a PMH with a spinning magnet on the end so that it has a variable switching device. It's literally a magnetic perpetual motion holder. I'm definitely butchering that. But if you look at the way it's built, it's literally a PMH with moving parts. It blew my mind.
Wow.
Somebody figured out how to take the PMH, put it into a device, and then put it in a washing machine. I told no one. Because the coils on this thing are counterwound. One's clockwise, one's the other, counterclockwise. It's one wire,
Yes.
and then it's got a capacitor that connects it. And all you do is spin the magnet on it, and you're creating power. Like, I think Mike Faraday was getting 40 watts for free. I could be wrong on that. But
yeah, I had a couple of those in my garage. I worked with them like 4 years ago, I think it was.
yeah, so if you look at the way the coils are, and you look at the way the steel is literally shaped like a horseshoe. And the coils are wound like a PMH. So it's just mind-blowing. I thought, I can't believe somebody came up with that and nobody actually saw it.
If you take the horseshoe-shaped coil and you change the actual places where the windings go,
Yeah.
you can actually change that to be north or south when it comes out of the bottom.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah.
See, there you go. And that's what happens in the PMH, too. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
I love finding out stuff like that. It's just, science is awesome. I love to learn.
They have an old-time video on it. I'll find it. I'll send it to you, man. It's
definitely, I'll watch it for sure. For sure. That's awesome. All that science, you know what? My whole goal in life is to learn one new thing a day. That's my choice. Yeah. That's why I got into the science. Because I'm learning stuff. Like, I got notes I got to write down. I'm learning so much stuff.
Yeah, so much learning. But, I mean, it's a lot to take in. But at the same time, I feel like it's helped me understand like so much more. Not only in science, but in understanding life in general.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'd have to agree. Kind of the way it works, right?
Yeah.
Science, life, right? I don't know. I guess physics. It's all part of it.
Philosophy. Yeah.
Yeah. But academia loves to separate that so that they can get their money for teaching you by each subject. And then they keep the subject separated so that you don't put all the pieces together. Right?
But we're putting the pieces together right here on the show, gentlemen.
They should have just offered physics instead of English when we got to high school.
Yeah.
Because at that point we can all read and spell. That doesn't need to be expanded. What needs to be expanded is the physics.
Absolutely. And the way that physics works and the way that it's taught, it should be fun, not so dry and dusty as a desert fart.
Oh, I'll tell you what, if I
agree.
did the class, man, we would light it up every once in a while with voltage and keep that whole thing excitable.
There you go. You know it. That's the way to teach. You want to make people smile. You want to make people think and go,
That's right.
what is he doing there? You know,
Hey,
that's how they learn.
High voltage tells you a lot more when you get it running, and it shows you its secrets more than low voltage does.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I just started playing with high voltage this last year because even low voltage with these systems I play with are crazy. Because there's things, like I said, I haven't talked about that make me a little nervous.
Yeah.
So
you should add a trigger circuit to your thing. You can put in whatever you want.
A which?
So I add a trigger circuit to my high voltage. So it basically runs the power from the power source in through this trigger circuit that goes just straight over to the ZVS, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the little trigger circuit will allow you to add a 5-volt circuit to it, which you can put in your frequency and duty cycle, and it completely changes your high voltage coming out of your coil.
Oh, that's what you were talking about on your video I was watching today.
Yeah.
I seen that today. I was watching going, yeah, you know what? I'm building one of those.
Yeah. Like $10 worth of parts changes the whole way you see high voltage.
Yeah, for sure. I'm building one of those. Because the high voltage I have now is it's not as controllable as I'd like. I got a neon sign transformer. I got a bunch of those high voltage modules, and I got a bunch of plasma globe, the hearts from them, right? I had a few break in my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it tells you a lot about charge. I used to take 2 flybacks, put them in series, right?
Yeah.
In order to draw down the amps and bring up the volts. Now with this circuit, I can draw down as many amps as I want, bring up as many volts as I want, along with changing the frequency in it to get myself in that place where I can get the charge.
So you got full control.
Full control.
Oh, that's what I want.
They're not hiding it for me, buddy. I got this one.
You know what I kind of wondered? I kind of wondered if an H bridge would work in my system, because I have like a bifilar, and an H bridge switches the polarity consistently back and forth, right? I kind of wonder if doing that would give it some form of an upward motion. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. We're talking about circuits, so.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, H bridges are the things they use to run motors, right? So I kind of wonder. I don't know. Just a thought. But I'm building your circuit, that's for sure. When I heard that, full control, oh yeah, I'm building that. For sure. I actually have a ZVS. I have the 1800 watt ZVS. So I got to change out some of the caps on it, but big deal.
Yeah, I was thinking instead of a 20K ohm resistor, I could just use a potentiometer in there, and it'll give me the resistance going up and down that I want. So I could put a 30, like a 30 K ohm potentiometer in there, and now I can change that as well on the resistance end of it to change the circuit even more.
That's fine tuning right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I might try that after you try. I'm going to build the first circuit first.
Oh, it's gonna, you'll see it immediately. That's what I love about high voltage. As soon as you do it and you start changing the frequency, you're gonna go, well, where did all the white go? And then why is this thing not jumping the spark gap anymore? And then you're gonna start to ask yourself, what is really going on here? What did I just do to this thing?
Yeah, I can't wait because I imagine I'm going to see even more strange anomalies come off the system.
Well, check it out. You never lose energy. So it had to go somewhere. So my question is, did it go right back into the magnetic coil on the thing? And did it change something of the operation in there with the frequency? And that's the curious thing I have about it.
Huh. Interesting thought.
Because you don't lose any power and it doesn't back up into the circuit.
Yeah. Huh.
So
yeah, think about that one.
It's got to go somewhere. Somewhere there's an amplification point it's hitting and absorbing the energy.
There's a configuration, like there's 4 configurations that I can do with this bifilar coil system that changes the aspects of the whole thing. And one of them that I do, when I put a high voltage in it, I get nothing out. Nothing changes. I'm not seeing any voltage. I'm not seeing any resistance, no heat, no nothing. It just goes into the system and disappears somewhere. And I no idea where. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to put a video out on it one day just to show what I'm doing, to see if anybody's got any ideas. It's almost like the energy goes dead. Like it's...
Why don't you suspend it and then put a pickup coil under it or under and over it?
Well, I had them beside it, but yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'll try that.
Energy doesn't go away. It's got to go somewhere.
Maybe it got focused into a beam rather than on the outside. That's a good
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. Huh. I'm actually going to write that down as a note right now. Thanks, Nate.
Well, I got to learn something, man.
Yeah.
I'd love for that to work.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm going to try that. That's a good idea. I never even thought to do that. I don't know why. So, gentlemen, it's been a long one. It's been awesome. I've dropped a few teasers, and this week or the beginning of next week, I'll drop a few more. So, but
we'll keep me on that fishing line, okay?
Sorry, Nathan. I can't let it all out at once because then people will be bored when it comes to APEC, right?
No, I get it. I get it. All
right, guys.
Thank you for showing up, man.
Did you freeze?
Oh, no. My webcam is delayed. So.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
Until I get a new one, and I will get a new one next week, or actually this week. So.
I got the Kia Pro. It works pretty good.
Yeah, what is that? I'm gonna look it up right now.
Kia Pro.
Kia Pro.
I'm writing that down too because I'm buying one. Buying a setup this week. I'm just not sure what to get yet.
It's on Amazon and they have a deal days on the 16th and 17th.
How do you call it?
Yeah, you'll get it down a lot less. I think they gave me 70% off last time I bought it.
Wow.
How do you spell it?
I think it's KYO.
Oh, KYO. Oh, nice.
So it's just the Pro model. It's I think it's like $80 or somewhere $80-$90 right now.
That's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll drop during the deal days if you wait.
That's it using now?
Nice.
And it gives you 1080p. It's the camera I'm using right now.
Nice.
That's right here. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I bought a second one to put on my experiment, so I have 2 views. So when I start it up again, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to have that, and then I don't know what happened. Something broke in the camera, and now I've only got this one, and it's not the greatest.
You probably did what I did and run some EM fields around it and just blew it out. I'm notorious for that.
On one of my lives, I showed it out. I filled the capacitor, and then I shorted it out, and the short was so strong, the flash was green, and it made like gravitational waves in the camera and everything froze. So yeah, you're not wrong. That could be what happened.
Consequences of being a mad scientist, huh?
Yeah. Oh, the meters I've blown, I wish I would have kept them, man. It would have filled a box. I'm telling you, it's crazy. All right, gentlemen, thank you for having me. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Gerald. I
Yeah,
really
thank you
appreciate
for
it.
coming on. We
And
appreciate
you guys
you.
have a great night. And maybe we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah.
All right, later.
Bye.
All right, Ben. I think we should end it here, man. We got a very cool thing today.
Yeah.
What do you say we do this again next Monday?
Yeah. That sounds like a good. We'll have a Think Tank Monday. How's that?
There you go.
Nice.
We'll try to set it up at the same time. Give everybody some time to, I'll set it up in the stream so that everybody
Yes.
knows we're here.
Yeah, and and I wanted to get Mike on, but it looks like he's not here. So yeah, like you said, we've been going on how long?
It's 3 hours, 14 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It's
Mike
quite a
crashed,
while.
so it's gonna be lower. But yeah, we've been going on for a while, and I gotta get to bed because I work tomorrow. So. But
All right,
yeah.
man. We'll set it up for next week. We'll do it on a Monday.
Sounds good.
And then we'll invite whoever you guys want. You know what I mean? Crypto, you're always welcome. We'll send you the email.
Yep. And Mike, if you're watching, I still would like you to email me. I'm putting my email in the chat right now, so you can email me and we can do a one-on-one, so I can order these parts real quick. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream, guys. I really appreciate everybody. I really appreciate you for doing this, Nathan. It's really cool of you. So
Right on. I had a great time, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Bye. Have a good night. So this is my email. Mike, you can email me. I don't have your email, but I would like to get in touch with you about ordering some of these. I want to make sure I order the right parts for the circuit that you so thoughtfully drew up for me in phase 2 testing of the Rodin coil. This is what I aim to be rolling out within the next coming month or two, depending on how fast I can whip it together. But yeah, so if you'd like to reach out to me and get in touch with me about some questions I have about this circuit regarding the materials to order, the email is in the chat. I appreciate everybody, and have a good night.